For years, I thrived in the high-pressure business world, but the workaholic life finally caught up with me. I was 35, very overweight, in chronic pain with severe mobility issues, terrible diet, no exercise. My health was a complete wreck. Then I went to a gentle yoga class and felt truly relaxed. The stress just melted away. I went from a size 18 to a size 8. I stopped getting sick. Pain disappeared. I learned to open my heart and I felt happy for the first time in years. So I said goodbye to the business world and started teaching. Yoga doesn't have to be strenuous. The easiest movements can trigger major release of chronic symptoms, no matter your age.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hello, I'm Deborah Devine. Welcome to Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. And yes, as you just saw, I had lots of problems before discovering gentle yoga. It was like a domino effect. My physical issues were causing anxiety, and that was causing insomnia. The less I slept, the worse everything got. Age-related conditions, grief, and a lifetime of stress can result in insomnia for many Zoomers. But based on my experience and years of teaching, I've planned a very simple yoga series that can calm the racing mind and bring about deep restfulness. You don't have to be in good physical shape to do this practice. In fact, it's been designed to benefit people who aren't in good shape. We'll start with a very easy warm-up that grounds us and releases the tension of not sleeping. Then a combo of standing exercises and lying down poses will continue that release of tension. After that, we cool down in a very relaxing, reclining goddess pose. This is a very gentle practice, but don't be fooled. Doing the whole series, or if you're busy, just one or two of the poses might have you finally nodding off. Let's start the healing. Joining me today, Brenda and Kit, who both are dealing with insomnia. So the warm-up is going to be comprised of two poses, a wonderful pose that will help us ground, and then an inversion. So the first pose, Dandasana, we'll take seated. Now, if you have low back problems or if you feel like your hamstrings are a little bit too tight, just come up onto a pillow, a rolled up blanket, and we'll get all of the flesh on the backs of the legs to come back. So just move the flesh back. And then we're going to take the upper legs, rotate them inwardly. That is going to give the sciatic joints, the SI joints, a little bit of space. The low back will be able to lift. We'll be able to lift through the sternum. And Dandasana is an excellent way to connect to the ground. We're going to use the breath and engage all of the muscles of the legs, all of the muscles of the feet. We're going to use dorsiflexion in the feet. Heel strong, dominant, pressing away, toes coming back towards the knees, spreading the toes nice and wide and creating a lot of space in the plantar fascia where we connect to the earth. We are going to squeeze and hug the muscles into the leg bones here, letting the heads of the femurs, the tops of the leg bones draw down as we lift everything on the front part of the chest. Long, slow, smooth in-breath. And then it crests at the crown of the head like a wave and cascades down the back line as an out-breath, grounding through the sit bones and the legs. Lifting everything on the front line of the body is going to open up the front of the chest. We're opening up some more room in the lungs. We're creating space between the belly and the heart. Now we're going to move into an inversion. Viparita Kirani, the waterfall pose. We come down onto the ground, and using our arms, we come onto the back. If you'd like to elevate your pelvis by taking the bolster or taking a rolled up blanket or towel underneath the pelvis, that will be a really effective way to take the pose. We let ourselves surrender here, and then one leg comes up, and then another leg comes up. And then we circle the ankles a few times, and then the soles of the feet come together. And then we can butterfly the legs in a very gentle way. We're creating a lot of space in the hip sockets. We're starting to release a lot of tension that has been residing in the legs all day. This is a wonderful pose to take. We're activating the vagus nerve. which governs the parasympathetic aspect of the nervous system, the rest and digestive aspects of the nervous system. We take a few breaths deep into the hip sockets, deep into the hip creases. We hold a lot of tension, especially if we're sitting at a desk or we're doing a lot of driving. There's an enormous amount of tension in the hips that can create a lot of tension in the mind. Completing the out-breath and pausing before you allow the in-breath to come in can really help settle the mind. Please enjoy any variation of Viparita Kirani that feels good for you, legs long, bent knees, butterflying, or what have you. And we'll be back in a few moments to work with more symptoms of insomnia.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to onetv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I've been an insomniac most of my life. When I wake up in the morning, I should be exhausted and tired, but I'm not. Instead, I'm running on nervous energy all day. When it comes time to go to bed, I put my head down and I still can't sleep. However, it got very bad after the death of my husband a little over a year ago. I began sleeping 0 to 10 hours a week. That's a week, not a day, not a night. Since I've been doing yoga for the last 3 months, I've started to improve my sleep. I'm now up to between 2 and 4 hours every night. That's a whole grand total of 12, 14 hours a week, which is fabulous in my books. I've still got a long way to go, but I know that with the help of yoga and the practices that they've shown me, I can improve too.
Welcome back. We've been dealing with symptoms of insomnia. Brenda, what are your favorite go-to poses when you're up in the middle of the night?
Probably my favorite is the happy baby pose. I know it's not the normal one of the normal poses, but I find it very soothing and very comforting.
That's so wonderful. Well, I hope by the end of the practice I'll be able to put you fast to sleep. So we're going to be releasing some more energy out of the back line of the body and grounding, going into some inversions here with Prasarita, Padattonasana into Uttanasana and some variations. So we'll take our feet wider apart on the mat, heels out, toes in, and then we're going to bend the knees, take the sit bones back, maybe put the hands on the knees and gently lower down. Maybe the elbows come on the knees. Now, if you're flexible and you'd like to take the floor, wonderful. If not, just keep your elbows on the knees. We'll take a long, slow, smooth in breath and a long, slow, smooth out breath and begin to lengthen one leg at a time. The right leg goes long and then the left leg goes long. We go back and forth, maybe moving the hips from side to side. We're letting the out-breath be complete and we're feeling the belly come to the front spine. We're lengthening out the hamstrings so that we can release tension out of the hips and out of the spine. Let the upper leg bones rotate inwardly and let the pelvis come up and over, allowing the spine to pour out of the pelvis and relaxing all of the muscles of the spine. If you feel ambitious, you could be taking your hands behind your back. You could use a belt as well. And then we rotate the upper arm bones externally, broadening through the collarbones and lifting the elbows and the hands up. Long, slow, smooth, and complete in and out breaths here. Long, slow, smooth, and complete out breaths. And then hands come onto the hips. We bend the knees and we strengthen all of the muscles of the back and we inhale and rise up slowly. And then we're going to heel toe the feet into the midline. And then we'll just turn for Uttanasana. Uttanasana is the same idea. It's a standing forward fold, and we'll be taking a few variations to get deeper into the hips and releasing a lot of tension so we can relax and have a good night's sleep. We bend the knees, take the sit bones back, let the pelvis come up and over the femurs. Let the belly rest on the thighs. And then we'll bring the hands down. We'll ground through the right foot, lifting, left foot comes down, pumping that grounded leg a few times and just feeling what's going on with the hamstrings. Keep the knee bent and let the hamstring be safe. Now we're going to let the fingers do the walking. We're walking over to the right and allowing the pelvis to come up and over and around the head of the femur. Long, slow, smooth in-breath and a long, slow, smooth out-breath will take us back to center. Maybe we'll pump that grounded leg a few times, and then we'll walk the fingers in the opposite direction. We're twisting all of the deep muscles in the pelvis, in the hips, and wringing out long-held tension here. Coming back to center, switching sides. Left foot comes down. Now just come to an awareness of what's going on with the right and the left hip. We've moved an enormous amount of energy out of the right hip. Just compare that to what's going on in the left hip. Ground through the ball of the big toe and the heel and the ball of the baby toe on the left side, lifting the right leg. Let the fingers do the walking over here. Come over to the baby toe side of the foot, bringing the pelvis around the head of the femur. And then coming back to center, maybe pumping that grounded leg a few times, and then walking over to the opposite side. Having that sense that the femur is stable. The pelvis is coming around the femur, accommodating the femur. The femur is what's grounding us. It's the anchor of the pose here. And then we'll come back to center, dropping both legs, and then inhaling, halfway lift, lengthening the spine, drawing the shoulder blades down, exhaling, forward fold. Hands on hips, energize the legs, keep the spine nice and strong, and inhale slowly. And exhale, arms come out to the sides. Experience that wonderful shift of energy and prana throughout your body right now. Come back on the heels and stand strongly in your connection to the earth. Now we're going to come into crocodile pose. We're going to come right down onto the ground after moving all of that energy out. And we'll cross the forearms and let the forehead rest down. This is a wonderful pose to take because it's so soothing. Please continue to enjoy crocodile pose for the next few minutes, and we'll be back with more wonderful poses for insomnia.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to onetv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Welcome back. We've been using our yoga practice to help us deal with symptoms of insomnia. Let me ask you, Kit, what are some of the symptoms that you deal with?
Well, my symptoms are basically I can go to sleep, but I can't stay asleep. So I'll wake up within 2 hours max. If I get 3 straight hours, I'm lucky.
Wow, that's so interesting. Well, I hope that this next sequence is going to help give you a wonderful night's sleep tonight. Let's come down to happy baby. We come down onto our back, and the knees are bent. And then we take one knee up into the belly, and we find out where we can hold on with our hand. Now, if we're not very flexible, we can just hold on to either the calf or maybe around behind the knee. And Kit here is very flexible. Maybe she's grabbing onto the outside edge of the foot. And then maybe creating a little bit of tension between the foot and the hand and seeing what happens down here in the pelvis. The femur is dropping a little bit more deeply into the hip socket. Let's take the opposite leg up now, engaging that isometric action again and rocking back and forth. This is a wonderful way to ground the back line of the body. Another way to really work well with the hips and release a lot of tension and gripping here that might be keeping us awake is to draw the sit bones down and feel the low back begin to lift up just ever so slightly. Letting the out breath be complete, feeling the belly come to the front spine, pausing there for a moment is a wonderful practice to ground the mind and calm the mind. This is not a pose that I regularly include in my insomnia classes, but it can be a really soothing pose. Brenda is very flexible in the hips. She's very flexible in the spine. So this is a pose that she really enjoys. And if you're starting to feel calm in the mind and calm in the breath, then you know that's the best pose for you to be doing at that time. Now we're going to put the happy baby to sleep in child's pose. So release the legs and come back to your back and then roll over to the right and then make your way up using the strength of your upper body. And using a bolster can be really wonderful, but if you don't need any support and you'd like to come down into child's pose all the way as Kit is doing, resting the forehead, allowing the arms to come back, resting the tops of the hands on the ground. We're opening up some real estate in the back, in the low back, down at the bottom of the lungs where we have the highest concentration of these air sacs that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. When we're working with insomnia, we're typically more in this place of breathing into the upper part of the lungs, and the mind is very active. So we're just switching everything over here. We're letting the back line expand and open, getting breath down into the bottom of the lungs, and we're resting the forehead. If you'd like to take your bolster with the knees wide, inhaling and lengthening on the front of the body, exhaling and coming forward, resting the temple on the bolster, but allow your elbows to rest down and feel supported. Taking a few breaths here, and just allowing yourself to feel the sit bones come back. Allowing yourself to feel the belly is supported. This is a very soothing aspect of the pose. Keeping the belly compressed activates the relaxation response. Let go of the jaws. Let go of the eyes. Let go of the eyebrows. And rest. Brenda is using the bolster a little bit differently. She's got her legs together. She's getting that compression of the belly because her hips are very open. She can bring her legs together and take that pose a little bit deeper. And she's resting her forehead on the bolster. This, again, is a wonderful way to rest the mind. Please continue to enjoy child's pose for the next few minutes, and we'll be coming back to enjoy a wonderful yogic slumber.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to onetv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Practicing Viparita Kirani, the waterfall pose, before bed can help prevent insomnia. Melatonin is an effective and natural supplement that also counteracts insomnia.
Welcome back. We've been dealing with symptoms of insomnia, and we've been releasing tension out of the hips, out of the shoulders. We've gone into a few inversions that have helped bring some fresh blood and prana into the mind. We've calmed the nervous system, and now we're going to be going into a wonderful yoga nidra. We're going to be taking our yogic slumber in Supta Baddha. This is a variation of supported bolsters. You could have your legs long, or you could have your knees bent out to the side with the soles touching. The shoulder blades come down the back and in behind the heart. This is going to be a wonderful resting position. If you have a blanket that you could wrap around your head and just covering the eyes very lightly, creating a nice cocoon, supporting the neck and hiding the areas around the ears. Maybe eye bags would feel nice on the wrists. Take a long, slow, smooth in-breath, breathing in light and spaciousness into your whole body. And then exhaling tension and gripping. Another long, slow, smooth in-breath into the feet, into the ankles, into the shins and the knees, breathing in light and spaciousness. Exhaling tension, exhaling holding. A long, slow, smooth in-breath into the hips, into the spine, into the whole back line, breathing in light and spaciousness, and exhaling tension, exhaling holding. Feel yourself surrendering onto the supports. A long, slow, smooth in-breath into the belly, into the heart and the lungs, breathing in light and spaciousness. Exhaling tension, exhaling holding. Another long, slow, smooth in-breath into the neck and the arms, the shoulders, the jaws, the cheeks, the ears, the temples, breathing in light and spaciousness, and exhaling tension, exhaling holding. A long, slow, smooth in-breath into the face, the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead, breathing in light and spaciousness, exhaling tension, exhaling holding. Let the eyebrows move away from the center. Let the eyes shrink and fall to the back of the eye sockets where they rest quietly behind the closed eyelids. Feel the brain shrink and fall to the back of the skull, leaving some room behind the forehead. Give yourself permission to completely surrender here in this relaxed state. And at this point in our yogic slumber, we can call to mind an intention, a sankalpa, a goal. And maybe the goal right now is for us to just completely release and let go, giving ourselves permission to drift off into slumber, deep rest. Please continue to enjoy this Shavasana for at least another half hour. And we'll see you next time on Healing Yoga. Namaste.